In January of 2021, at the beginning of this year, we had 10 native beehives, and at that time we dotted them around the farm in places where we thought they would be a good spot for them, for the bees themselves, but also from the farm's point of view for pollination. Mangoes were coming into flower, and rather than moving honeybees, which is a much more difficult thing to do, decided to move some of the native bees, because actually the native bees are so much smaller than the honeybees. They pollinate things that flowers that are much smaller than the honeybees can pollinate. So things like mangoes, lychees, finger limes, they've got a really teeny tiny little flower that the little native bees can get inside, that the honeybees can have a go at, but not necessarily be as small and get in there. So I'm actually thinking about putting some in the lychee orchard as well at the moment. You need to take into account the flight range of the bees. Native bees have a flight range of 500 meters. So for a successful move, it needs to be a kilometer, because they can overlap with their old territory of 500 meters if it's shorter than that. And if that happens, then they'll recognize their old territory and go back to where home was instead of where home is now. There's a little trick that you can do as well, is to put something across the entrance of the hive, just tape a little stick or something, and that tells the bees that something's different. So as they're coming out in the morning that you release them, something's different. So instead of just flying out the door as they normally would, they take note of where they are and what's going on, because something's changed. The mangoes are absolutely busting with flowers now, and we've got 2 of the native beehives over there. Just went and had a look at them yesterday, and they're happy in their spot, and the trees are full of flowers. There's actually about 2,000 different species of native bee in Australia. This is only one species that we're talking about. The bees are happy, so it's a success from the bees' point of view. But as far as a farming point of view goes, we'll be measuring our success not just in the happiness of the bees and in the pollination of native biodiversity, but in the mangoes especially. And so until we get a mango harvest and we see that there's an increase, we won't know if that's been a success from that point of view.